During this video segment, we will show you why it is useful for curriculum admins to attach benchmarks to courses for the teachers, and we'll show you how to do that as well. So let's go in, and I'm logged in right now as a teacher who also has administrative rights, but as a teacher. And if I go to one of my courses that I teach, I'll go to Science, Kindergarten Science. And notice here's a unit that I just created. I could edit to add the content in. But if I want to attach benchmarks to this unit, I click on the paperclip underneath benchmarks next to that unit, and it will bring up the science benchmarks. But notice it does not show any right now, and that's because I have this checkbox checked. It says right now it's only showing the performance standards and benchmarks that are attached to this course or unit. So if I uncheck this, then I'll see all of our science benchmarks, which is great because now I see my kindergarten ones, but I also see first grade, second grade, all the way through, looks like it's through high school. So it becomes a very, very long and difficult list. For kindergarten teachers, it's not as bad because theirs are right in the top here. But if, for instance, if I'm a fifth grade teacher and I have to go down until I find the fifth grade ones every time I want to attach standards, that's a lot of extra work for me. So let's go ahead and click on, I'm going to assess those two and instruct these two benchmarks, and I'll click Save. So notice it added those in, but it would be really handy for the teacher if we would actually select or set up what benchmarks the kindergartners need to cover. To do that, a curriculum admin would go to the courses database underneath admin, and they'd find the first course they would like to do this for. Behind that course, notice there's an attached benchmarks, and then it'll show all your benchmarks for science. And one thing that will be real helpful for you is if you understand the naming convention behind these. If you're not sure, what you can do is you can go to standards and benchmarks and kind of look at them carefully. Notice these first kindergarten ones have a K in front. When the first grade standards and benchmarks start, looks like it moves from a K over to a 1. So it looks like it's the third character in that I need to look at. So let's go back there once again. Let's go to courses database, and I'm going to go ahead and attach. And so there it is, KK, and you keep going until you find the last one. So select the first one, scroll until you find the last one, and hold your shift key down, because what that'll do is it'll select everything in between. If you use a control key, that allows you to hold the control key and select or deselect individual ones. But if you click on the first, hold your shift key down, click on the last kindergarten one, click add, and then notice these are first grade ones. We'll go ahead and click add, and that one's done. And let's continue on just with a few more grades so you get a hang of it. So these are the kindergarten ones. There's where the first grade starts. That's where looks like there are some more kindergarten ones there actually. But anyway, just for now, let's go ahead and select these first grade ones and click add. And then finally, let's do that also for second grade. So let's click attach. And so now here's the second grade ones. A few of those kindergarten ones were in the wrong order, it looks like. But anyway, we'll just continue on. There's our second grade one, and click add. So notice now I have 13 attached to kindergarten, 9 to first grade, and 14 to second grade. And typically it's going to be higher. It's probably going to be 20, 30, 40 of them. But for our demo purposes, you get the idea of how that works. So now if I go to Science Kindergarten, teachers are really going to appreciate what you just did, because what it allows them to do is they can click here and, whoops, I hit the wrong icon. They can click here, and now notice it's only the kindergarten benchmarks, much easier to work with. Likewise, if I go to a first grade class, so let's do that. Let's go to first grade science. Now when I click on here, and if this is checked, notice it's going to show just the first grade standards. And so let's go ahead and say I'm going to assess these and instruct these in this unit, and we will go ahead and click Save. So one of the huge advantages of doing that one-step process is it is some work to do initially, but if you do it, it's going to make it so much easier for for your teachers to find just their list of standards. Plus, it's also nice because what it allows you to do in the reports is I can go to benchmarks by course, and let's just choose all our courses. And so now notice it shows here are the 13 benchmarks that you just attached at the course level. So when we went to admin, courses, database, and attached, here are the 13 that the kindergartners teachers should cover. And then they can see, for instance, this one, currently, even though we're supposed to teach it, is never being assessed or instructed, and so forth. So it makes it a lot easier to interpret these reports and use them as well. Another report that's really helpful then is the benchmark map by grade. So let's go ahead and choose all grade. You'll see something like this. Notice the shading shows where it should be taught. And so here, the shade, that's what I did when I went to admin courses database and attached those 13 benchmarks to this course. It creates this gray line, our gray box, our shading for each of these. And then the A's are saying that it's being assessed. This one's being assessed. This one's being instructed. This one's never being assessed or instructed. So it kind of allows you to see your gaps and overlaps. Notice here is first grade and third grade. I guess I attached that to the wrong grade, and so forth. So very handy. We strongly recommend that you go through the process of going to the courses database. And we did science, but then we could move on to math if we wanted to and attach the benchmarks. It doesn't look like I have math benchmarks in here, but it could attach those and so forth. It's going to make it a lot easier for teachers to attach benchmarks at the unit level, and it's going to make these reports much more useful for you. This now concludes this instructional video.